I need to tell you something that's going to upset a lot of people. After spending some serious wheel time with this new 4Runner TRD Pro, I've come to a conclusion that even I didn't expect. And it's that the 4Runner V6 fans are wrong about everything. It's not that they're not smart, but it's because they're measuring the wrong things. Everyone's arguing about 0 to 60 times and engine sound, but nobody's talking about what actually matters when you're trying to control a 5,500-pound vehicle through some challenging terrain. This hybrid powertrain doesn't just replace the old V6, it exposes some fundamental flaws that the V6 was hiding all along. What's it like? Buckle up, my friends. Let's go for a drive. I'm your host, Brian Makse, racer, lover of driving fast, fun things. And on this channel, you get reviews for drivers from drivers. Look, I get it. Change is hard, especially when we're talking about something as sacred as the 5th generation 4Runner's V6. After spending some serious quality time with this all-new 6th generation 4Runner TRD Pro, I realized that we're having the wrong conversation entirely. While everyone's talking about cylinder count and engine sound, they're missing the fundamental question. Does this thing actually work better? And the answer to that question is going to make some people very uncomfortable. And before we get into what this is like to drive, let's have a look at it in a little more depth. Yes, this is the all-new 6th generation 4Runner, and we've been waiting 14 long years for this one. And in a lot of ways, this is a revolution. They ditched the V6 entirely for a hybrid-only TRD Pro. It's built on the TNGA-F truck platform shared with Tacoma and Tundra. And right off the top, it's worth noting that this produces 187 pounds more torque than the previous V6. This new body-on-frame construction is 50% stiffer than the previous generation. The power unit is based on a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It is a hybrid. The electric motor is integrated into the transmission. In total, it makes 326 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 465 pounds of torque at 1,700 RPM. The hybrid battery is a 1.87 kilowatt-hour size. Transmission's an 8-speed automatic. Part-time 4-wheel drive with an electronically controlled 2-speed transfer case. There's an electronic locking rear diff. Steering is electrically assisted. Suspension's based around double wishbones at the front, multi-link at the rear with coil springs. And for the first time in a 4Runner, you can push a button and disconnect the front sway bar. This TRD Pro uses Fox QS3 3-way adjustable internal bypass shocks with remote reservoirs. 4-wheel disc brakes, of course, with multi-piston calipers at the front. Wheels and tires are 18s with 33-inch all-terrain tires. All the off-road measurements are better than before. 10.1 inches of ground clearance, 33-degree approach angle, 24-degree departure angle. Payload capacity is a modest 1,050 pounds. Towing capacity is 6,000 pounds. And curb weight of this 2025 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro is just shy of 5,500 pounds. Did you know that 80% of you are not subscribed? Yes, it's true. 80% of you are not subscribed. I checked the data. So if you like the content on this channel, do me a solid, hit that subscribe button, make sure you like this. And if you want to support the channel, please hit up our merch store. Links here, links below. Lots of great stuff for driving enthusiasts like us, including our very popular line of Save the Manuals merch. Now back to your regularly scheduled episode. Behind the wheel, this is modern Toyota truck, so it's very similar to Tacoma Tundra as well as Sequoia. And what we do have is a very rugged, very outdoor truck-oriented kind of interior here, and it starts with a large diameter steering wheel. Yeah, this works off-road, but I'd rather have a smaller diameter steering wheel here because you do spend most of your time on the road. But I really can't complain too much because the shape is awesome, encourages you to have your hands at 9 and 3, and there is that red stripe at the top of the steering wheel in case you need to know which way is straight when the going gets interesting. In this TRD Pro, these seats are upholstered in Softex, which I have come to appreciate because it just seems way more durable than leather, certainly much more suited to an off-road kind of application, and on top of it, kind of looks pretty good too. These seats are big, they're comfortable, they're reasonably well adjustable. There's just basic adjustment here, but they are heated and cooled, and that's a nice luxury touch. After that, the ergonomics are very trucky, very simple and straightforward. We do have a big volume knob here in the center of the dash, just below the massive screen, which we'll talk about in a second. The climate controls are very simple, easy to understand. I just use this on automatic for the most part and deal with it that way. We have this drive mode selector, but it does a bunch of things. It does on and off-road drive modes, as well as the tow modes and the off-road crawl control, downhill assist control as well. And it's all very easy to work. What I have been using is this view button, and under 10 miles an hour, it will display the cameras here, including the front camera on the screen, which is helpful. But like the Sequoia TRD Pro, I wish they would raise the threshold of speed beyond just 10 miles an hour. We can't forget about the front sway bar disconnect, as well as the rear locking diff switch here. The instrument cluster is digital. It's very clear, straightforward, legible in all kinds of lighting conditions. Really appreciate the way it works, and I love the legibility of this in all driving conditions. Unlike a lot of infotainment systems, this one here actually works. There's no lag, no mysterious crashes, no need to restart the system like you're troubleshooting a Windows 95 computer. In an era where other manufacturers are turning simple functions into smartphone apps, Toyota kept it simple and functional. Revolutionary concept. In terms of spaciousness, well, there's a decent amount of room here. Not a lot of storage here under the armrest. Couple of cup holders here. Various places for storage of little things all around the cabin. Bottle holders in the doors as well. And there are a couple of USB ports here. There's one over here as well. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that on camera. There's a total of 8 cup holders in here, I think. And I guess that's because Toyota knows that Americans will find a way to fill them all simultaneously. So both you and your passenger have a lot of room here, a lot of headroom as well. In the second row, lots of room there. I'm very happy with the amount of leg room when I'm seated behind myself in this seating position. Getting back there, no trouble at all, lots of room. And under the hatch, lots of room as well, although like the Sequoia TRD Pro, for example, I also find the load height of that floor to be a little on the tall side. The one thing I do appreciate about this 6th generation 4Runner TRD Pro is the fact that there's no redundant and noisy roof rack. Sitting here behind the wheel in this TRD Pro is kind of like sitting in a bunker designed by someone who actually knows what comfort means. And with this 4Runner, I think it's a case of Toyota's interior design team actually driving trucks. Here's what the V6 purists don't seem to understand. The hybrid power unit isn't replacing the V6's character, it's solving the V6's problems. The old 4-liter made 270 horsepower and 278 pounds of torque, but you had to wait for it like you were ordering coffee at a trendy cafe during morning rush. This hybrid power unit delivers 465 pounds of torque instantly, right when you need it for getting up to speed on the highway, climbing a hill, or getting out of whatever situation your overconfidence got you into. The electric motor doesn't just assist the engine, it fundamentally changes how power delivery works. And the biggest thing is that it makes acceleration linear and predictable instead of just frustrating. This 8-speed automatic is a breath of fresh air compared to the old transmission, but I think this is more of a case of this is the transmission that the old 4Runner needed but never got. The ratios are spread perfectly for both performance and efficiency, with enough range to keep the engine in its sweet spot whether you're cruising at highway speeds or crawling over rocks at 2 miles an hour. The shift programming is smart enough to anticipate what you need. As much as I loved the old 4Runner for all of its character and maybe some of its flaws, This entire drivetrain really makes this 6th generation special. It's like going from dial-up internet to fiber. Same basic function, but a completely different user experience. And 5th gen fans, can your TRD Pro do 0 to 60 in 6 seconds flat? No. Didn't think so, but this one can. Top speeds limited to 115 miles an hour, which is way faster than I want to be going in this truck. Just lean into the throttle and the thing doesn't even downshift. And that's the thing. It makes 465 pounds of torque at 1700 RPM, which means it makes peak torque before the old V6 even woke up and remembered it was supposed to make power. When it comes to handling, a TRD Pro is all about going off-road, which is what we're doing at the moment. And this TRD Pro is defined by what connects us to the road. Starts with the tires, as well as the suspension. And this TRD Pro suspension is pretty magical. And what's central to this TRD Pro's dynamics are these Fox shocks. They are just incredible. Now, to be fair, I have not bothered to adjust them because what I found as soon as I got off road, the suspension soaks up all of these bumps, which is completely bizarre because I've spent a couple of days driving this TRD Pro on the road and its on-road behavior is impeccable. Yes, we are talking about a tall SUV and all of that, but in that context, these shocks do such an incredible job of body and wheel control. Now, I suppose that there's going to be some more challenging terrain that would demand changing the valving on these dampers. And it didn't take long for me to catch some of these bigger bumps at higher speeds than I would have preferred. But then the suspension just soaks it all up and says, bring it on. And this suspension setup is head and shoulders above any previous TRD Pro 4Runner I've driven. What I'm also impressed with, and this is more on-road, was the steering articulation. There's a lot of lock in this system. 3-point turns, no problem at all. Tight turns, no problem at all. And that also helps when we're off-roading like we are today. If you're in some tighter quarters and you need to get this thing turned in a certain situation, well, this does it better than that 5th gen 4Runner TRD Pro, that's for sure. Don't expect a lot of feel or feedback coming through this steering wheel. It is an electrically assisted system, but it is direct, precise, strong on center, and it works extremely well both on and off-road. Brakes are also impressive, and by the way, they're hydraulically assisted. This isn't a brake-by-wire truck, and then there is some regenerative braking going on to recharge the battery because this is a hybrid after all, but the brakes are strong and I've got incredibly precise control with this brake pedal, which is helpful both on the road, but here off-road, I've been able to place this precisely with the brake pedal and it is very strong. Brakes are powerful and I've got great control with this brake pedal. Having that front sway bar disconnect switch here is kind of awesome. In some tougher terrain, it transforms wishful thinking into actual physics just with a push of a button. Now that we're back on the road, I have to say this 4Runner TRD Pro's on-road handling is just as impressive. And the thing is, it doesn't feel like a compromise. The 33-inch tires and lifted suspension should make this thing wallow and bounce like a carnival ride, but the Fox shocks and the overall chassis tuning keep everything composed. Yeah, there's still some body roll because physics exists, but it's controlled and predictable. It's like Toyota's engineers understood that most buyers want off-road capability without sacrificing on-road civility, which apparently makes this truck revolutionary in the real world. I was fully anticipating having to change the shock settings. I mean, this is a press truck after all, so who knows how these were set prior to me driving it. What they proved to be was incredibly versatile and incredibly capable in all of the off-road trail driving I did today. And the fact that these shocks soaked up all the bumps, just going from on-road pavement like this to an off-road trail, soaking up all the bumps, and I didn't detect the shocks complaining whatsoever. I found no need to change the settings. And these shocks, I think, are what define this all-new 6th generation 4Runner TRD Pro. In terms of ride comfort, I'm very happy with how this rides. Yes, this road road is smooth at the moment, but ride comfort is excellent. And the flip side of this coin, with this suspension on the mean streets of Toronto, means that you can basically ignore potholes and speed bumps or anything else that gets in your way. This suspension will just soak it all up. How do you spec yours? Well, what you are looking at is the 2025 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro in the signature mud bath paint with the black Softex interior. In the US, base price and as tested is one and the same at $67,400. In Canada, base price and as tested are the same, $80,502, and these prices are before freight, taxes, fees, etc. Now, how do you spec yours? Well, the fact of the matter is, you don't. Toyota offers this truck in one configuration with one interior color and 5 exterior paint choices because they understand that decision fatigue is real and most people can't handle ordering coffee without having an existential crisis. The price includes everything: Fox shocks, locking diffs, skid plates, the exhaust, upgraded interior materials, and enough off-road tech to embarrass most dedicated off-roaders. There's no options list because Toyota included everything they think you'll need. Now, this costs as much as the BMW X3 M40i, proving that off-road capability pricing has now entered luxury territory, much like artisanal water and organic air. Now, before you get all excited and place your order, or at least try to find a 4Runner TRD Pro, owners are having some very specific discussions about their experiences. First, those Fox shocks that everyone loves, including me. Well, many owners in the real world find them surprisingly harsh, even in the comfort setting, which is surprising for me. Some owners have pursued the thought exercise of value engineering, and here's the deal. If you start with a 4Runner TRD Off-Road Premium and add in aftermarket Fox shocks, wheels, and tires, that actually costs about $10,000 less than this TRD Pro. Owners are also saying there's a hood vibration problem, which I haven't experienced whatsoever. They say there's visible hood movement at highway speeds, but I haven't experienced that at all, whether we're talking about the freeway or here off-road. Another thing that owners have pointed out is that Toyota's SUV lineup is getting a little confusing with the arrival of the Land Cruiser. The biggest difference, mind you, is the Land Cruiser has full-time four-wheel drive and the 4Runner uses a part-time system. Plus, the Land Cruiser and the 4Runner are priced close to one another, so that doesn't help the confusion either. As far as these insights go, well, I appreciate those from the owners because they're far more nuanced than I'm able to ever discern in a week-long press loan. My verdict, well, let's start with fuel consumption. And the fact of the matter is I haven't been tracking it because I've been enjoying my seat time with this 4Runner TRD Pro. I'd love to hear from owners, so please drop a comment in the comments below and let me know what kind of mileage you're getting in the real world. I really don't have a clue. I have not been tracking it. As for this new 4Runner TRD Pro, what the hybrid system has really taught me about is the limitations of the V6. And the fact of the matter is, it's not about efficiency or convenience. It's all about control, especially when we're off-road. When you need power for a technical climb or an emergency maneuver, waiting for the V6 to spool up through its power band could put you in genuine trouble. This hybrid delivers 465 pounds of torque immediately, exactly when and where you need it. The V6 fans are right about one thing: this doesn't sound like the old 4Runner. But that's because it doesn't need to work as hard to deliver the same result. And as I told my 5th generation 4Runner TRD Pro owning friend, Dr. J, the V6 wasn't reliable because it was simple. It was reliable despite being inefficient. And V6 fans aren't wrong to love what they have, but they are wrong to assume that it was the best Toyota could do. And my verdict on this new TRD Pro is that this is what the old TRD Pro should have been if Toyota was willing to abandon some tradition for performance. And they hung on to it for 14 long years. And the thing is, This hybrid-based drivetrain isn't a compromise, it's an improvement in every measurable way. This TRD Pro represents Toyota at their best, building vehicles that work exceptionally well at being vehicles, while everyone else is busy adding features that nobody actually needs. And I think this truck will outlast your mortgage, your marriage, and your ability to remember why you bought it in the first place. And if you're still complaining about this drivetrain after driving this truck, the problem isn't the truck, it's your relationship with change and progress. Thanks for hanging out with me today and having a look at this 2025 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, you're not new, you know what to do. Smash the subscribe button, turn on your notifications like this, and as always, sharing is caring, so please share this with your friends, especially on Reddit, because on Reddit, they really need to see reviews for drivers from drivers. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you want to support the channel, please hit up our merch store. Links here, links below. Lots of great stuff, including our very popular line of Save the Manuals merch. And Toyota still builds some fantastic manuals. Thanks, Toyota. Anyway, thanks again for watching. We'll see you again next time. And remember, cars don't understeer by themselves, not even Toyota 4Runner TRD Pros. And since you've hung around this long, well, have a look at our episode about this new 6th generation 4Runner, but in limited trim, a little bit more of a street-oriented trim, and I think it'll provide a nice contrast to this episode, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Thanks again for watching. See you again next time.